Hey there and welcome back to SnowRunner. Right here we are going to pick up some beautiful wooden planks, and guess what we are going to do with that? It's not on the list to the right though. As you can see, we do need for factory main block some bricks, concrete slabs, metal beams, small pipes, and then of course, we do need cabins. Yep, we are going to build 2 cabins with the twin steer, and then we are going to deliver it, of course. It's going to be great. And then we are going to pick up some other items here and there, of course. It's going to be a good episode. Oh, yesterday though, I was very stubborn though, right? I know I did need a smaller truck though, but we only knew that once we arrived at that impassable little place. But there are more ways to roam, right? And sometimes you can just raw dog anything. So never give up in this game though, never. Well, sometimes you just have to adjust a little bit, right? Just a little bit. And that's what we did. We did off-roading through the forest in the end. So yeah, the beautiful thing about this mission is though, right? I wanted to, and this is my advice now, I wanted to get a double twin steer, inspired by a beautiful comment, by the way. But if I sell trucks, I lose a lot of money. And I mean a lot of money though. Because, yesterday I did buy the P16 by selling one of my Russian trucks to see how much I would make and how much I have to pay if I want to have the truck again. So I did lose money. And now that I think just a little bit about it, did I lose money because I have to rebuy all the upgrades? No, because I did sell a fully upgraded Russian truck, and the base truck then, was more expensive. Okay, so that doubt is gone. That is nice. But yeah, yeah, be careful with that though, right? By selling trucks now, because it does cost money in the end. So, it's not the end of the world, but we have to wait with that ordeal. We are going to do that in the future though, because I'm certain that I will be using the twin steer a lot more though for these difficult tasks that you have to collect a lot and they will have to deliver a lot, and it's just back and forth. Why? Because this thing is an absolute monstrosity though. You can do so much with it, and because it doesn't have a trailer of any kind, it just feels really, really good in the mud and everything. It doesn't slow down as much as other trucks, and it's a massive big boy. That's awesome though, isn't it? Off into the sunset we go. What an episode, man. Sometimes though, right, these episodes takes like, well, an hour, 1.5 hours, which is the normal rate to record. And most of them though, if something goes wrong, it's 4 hours up to 6 hours for one task. Including travel and collecting and going back and forth, like all of that. That's just normal, right? But if something goes wrong, oi. But it feels so rewarding in the end, though, right? Once you have that done, you really want to put the controller down, or the keyboard and mouse, the steering wheel, take a break, and the next day you're just like, here we go again. All the pretty yellow little dots. Yeah. There's so many of them on the screen though. I might actually take away that for a bit. But yeah, man. It's an awesome thing to do, right? Like, look at that, by the way. Oh, yeah, no. In a second. Now, the gold mine, remember? Oh, we do see the big pipe right over there. That was one person task, Look at this big boy, by the way. We are going to haul with that more long logs later on. But, yeah, that was 1% as of the map. The sawmill mission was 2%. Hey, right, that's a big major increase, though. But yeah, yesterday when I was recording that game, I have to tell you though, life was cursed for a moment. Well, our car broke down. And my two-wheeler has a nail in the back wheel, so... Yep. It's gonna be expensive to fix both though, huh? But that's life though, that's life, right, you know? Cannot always be roses. And the 4 hours extra of recording time, just trying to pump out the game. Come on, YouTube, render it. Ah, it is what it is. Ooh, careful of the yellow, of a little tree right there. Yeah, not always solid though, but they are often solid. And then you have a slingshot back. Technically, we could take those cabins away from there. Oh my. I'm not going to do that right now. But I think, guys, if you don't want to make new cabins, just take the old ones away. They are still standing there. I mean, it's a little bit immersion breaking though. Like those workers over there, they don't have anywhere to sleep then and all. But if you want to be a capitalist pig though, right, you know? A little bit of a communist joke there. You take away their working homes. Oh, that is so bad though. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, by the way, I watched a little documentary, you know, about that era. I believe it was in 1975 or something. Yeah, between 1970 and 1975 though. So some random ass documentary I did see. Hence the capitalist pig. It's the first time, and there is the second time that I ever used that language though. It's kind of funny, right, you know? Because everything here, gold horse mining and all. Yeah, it's fitting, but it's funny though. Alright, let's move on though, let's move on. Now, the cabins, by the way, we do need to get some cargo containers, right? Remember, we can pick it up at the train station. And these we just have to deliver at the, cabin factory, right? So, well, I will deliver these. And then I will show you guys with the cargo trailers, containers. Yep, that's it though. Oh, there we are though. I love this truck, right? You know, 2 cargo containers of VR. It just feels so amazing though. Now, we don't have a lot of liters anymore in the fuel tank, but that's alright. Because there's a maintenance trailer rather close by though. So we can actually, you know, pump right up though. Pumped up kicks right there. And then we can move to the, well, across the border into the next sector. Now, hopefully, well, there are 2 sectors, right, you know, and we actually want to check out the map before we go there. So we know which entryway we have to take, right, you know. That seems to be the smartest thing that we can do at this very moment. Let's go be a little bit careful here, though, right, because this is top heavy right now. After all, we are over 26 inches from the floor here, so you know that is only the tires, by the way, I'm just saying. And then we have, let's say, I would say like 15 inches from the tires to the flatbed, and then we have 6 to 7 feet. I don't think these are massive sea containers, but if I check the handle where it is, it's probably a 7-feeter tall. Maybe even an 8 feet tall. Yeah, something like that, right? Like 2.5 meters tall, right? Something like that. Maximum out though, right? But probably more like 2.10 meters. There we go, there we go. Let's go and deliver that. Now we are going to make 2 of these. And then we are going to collect 2 of those. Now, we already have a bed in here. So, as you can see, the sun is going down. Let's rest up a little bit, plan ahead, and off we go. Global map. Here we are. Oh yeah, look at this. All right, so we can collect everywhere, right? But we do have to find... Okay, unload zone, residential area. And I believe we have to put it in a residential area, though. I think that makes the most sense. Everywhere else, I do see only pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. And yeah, it's a difficult choice, though, right? You know, because I really have to know, to be very fair with you. But I think this is the one, what we always did drive by, right? So normally we had the map like... Oh, look at that. The cabin construction site is here too. How very, very nice. So we had the angle like this. We can go from here. Yes. And then just like that, though. Or else we would have come out from here. That's way around, though. Way around. All right, we know a route. It's early in the morning, as you can see, though, right? You know, the dawn is coming in. A couple of hours, right? You know. And then it's bedtime once more. In the evening. But until then, we have a lot of work to go through. Now, this is going to be either a little bit rougher and tougher, though, with the twin steer in that region, in the big Salmon Peak region. To be fair with you, I think we can handle that, though. You know, if the terrain is rough and tough, you gotta just be slow, you know, and you will manage it. You will manage it. Slow and practical. This big boy is not for beginners, though, I have to say. You get it quite early on in your game. But I have to say, though, right, you know, you really do need to know the balance and the physics of the game to really take the least hassle route here. You know what I mean, though? Do you hear my voice? Yep, there it is. The frog is gone, boys. The frog is gone. Kind of funny, by the way, right? You know, like I've quite a big audience right now that's from Canada. I wonder why. Could it be because I did see... Well, I was clearing my throat for a reason there, because I keep saying, "Oh, Canada," in the early parts of our, you know, hauls here in the Yukon. Or could it be because we are in the Yukon, Canada, right? You know? Oh boy, it's kind of funny how that works. By the way, I'm not sure if... You know, do you guys want a little bit of a YouTube insider knowledge? Because I do know a couple of my viewers also do YouTube. Okay, I'm from a small country, right? And YouTube is not international in the sense how it works for content creators. And that's kind of weird now because I have audiences from other countries. But let's say if I will be uploading content in a smaller country, YouTube keeps pushing to my own country, right? And the audience is small then, because not everybody... Okay, let's say, well, SnowRunner is actually a perfect example for that. So let's say the audience size is small. It's rather big though, right? Trucks and all. But in general, it is rather small in comparison. Okay, wait, we're right over here. We take a left. And but how many people of let's say 1 million do enjoy trucking gameplay videos? Let's say 1%, right? You know, so we have 10,000. You know, so 10,000 people. Now, let's say you are from a country that speaks, I don't know, Klingon, right? You know, from Star Trek. How many people that speak Klingon do speak English? Huh? Gotcha. Let's say 100 people out of the 10,000. Or maybe, well, let's be generous. Some countries speak a lot of English though. Let's say 1,000 people. Right? So it gets recommended to 1,000 people. But wait, there's more. There is also an issue where they recommend you in the region that you're from. Right? You know, like a province. For those that don't know, a province is like a United States of America state. And there you have counties, right? You know? Like a state is like a country on its own. And then you have the counties within the states that are like provinces for traditional countries. Yeah? Alright, so there you go. So that is how it works. Now let's say, if you're from America, YouTube promotes you so extremely hard, like what someone from another country can do in, well, let's say 5 years. A lot of Americans can do that within a month or 8. And that is realistic though, right? You know, that is very realistic. My YouTube channel, like I did hear from a lot of people, did inspire others to also create content. And I'm freaking proud about that though, right? You know? And yeah, you know, they had success within 4 months or something. Yeah, that is something though, isn't it? So yeah, you are really fighting against it. So if you ever do something and it doesn't work out, just know that it's you. Nah, it's the YouTube algorithm though. So be aware of that, alright? So no hate to yourself or like, you know, like, oh, you know, like I'm not doing anything like that. Now, what I do know though, let's say TikTok as an example, does not work like that. It does not work like that though. Whether you make little dances or some text-based stuff, you know, like speaking or whatsoever, you actually get promoted. You get pushed very, 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 very hard, right? And the very hard is still based on your region, but they also give you directly like a little palette of little fuel bases of other countries. So believe me, I've been doing YouTube for a very long time by now, and there's other things though that I could share whatsoever. Don't listen to the YouTube gurus. They are just there to make money, clickbait, because you know every kid under the sun wants to be a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer, Kick streamer, etc. And they just want to sell you products that you don't need, and false hope with a lot of false analytics and false narratives and stuff like that, right? You know, so be aware of that though. Be aware of it. And I know you guys do like technical things, so I can just imagine that if you are in a truck driving game or whatever, right? You know, anything with neon lights, I think you are into technological things and aspects behind the scene too. So here you go, boys. Here you go. So, like would really help me though. Just saying though. Just saying. A comment does wonders, by the way. Yeah. Okay, imagine though. You know, like YouTube is changing. And if you really want to help out something, I know how it sounds right now though, right? You know, leave a comment or something. But you know, that really does help. Because YouTube is very strange now. It's not performance based either. It's engagement based, you know, like my average watch time is like 16 minutes plus. That is god tier on YouTube. That absolutely is god tier on YouTube. You know, it is extremely difficult even for the YouTubers that have millions and millions of subscribers though to get over the 15-minute mark, right, for long form content. And I do have very long videos here and there, right? So the average is 60 minutes and people do click and move around quite a bit though. So once upon a time that did mean quite a lot for YouTube. Right now it's like, dude, Dude, we want to hear the stupid memes in your chat, right? You know, it is a funny thing how things work, and you know, like a year from now on, it could mean something else. My controller is dead, it seems. Are you kidding me? Is it my twin steer? My entire game. Hello? Yeah. My game froze. I am not allowed to talk about this stuff though, huh? Conspiracy. Well, here we are once more. But yeah, that is also one of the reasons why India is exploding now on YouTube, right? You know? Like, well, it's a big country. With, let's say, a pretty big, you know? Pretty big population now, isn't it? Now, people in India do like to comment a lot though, right? You know? And, you know, that is one of the reasons why their videos are getting promoted to everyone. Even that you do not speak any of their language though, right? You know, like, you just find a video, you click it, and it's out of nowhere you do hear any language from that region, right? You know, like Bangladeshi, you know, like Sanskrit, stuff like that. So that's how it works. Yeah. Oh, that would have been a very bad one now, wouldn't it be? Unpack. Look how cute, by the way, our SF73210 actually looks though. It's a mini truck though. Anyways, let's go. But yeah, if you guys do like these little facts though, right, you know, or anything, do let me know. Plenty more to come. Oh. We could just ram it a little bit deeper in though, later on. Yeah, you know what? Not really ram though, like we are going to just push it further in. To be very fair with you, you don't want to do this with this type of crane anyways in real life. Right, you know, the edge of the crane just destroys everything. Man, one of its legs are just right outside, so we cannot push it in. Alright. There we go with that. There's a couple backs and forths. And there we go. To be very fair with you though, it could be like we do need a different truck though, with a longer arm here. I don't know, it kind of feels a little bit different though than the ones that we have tried before. Is the yellow crane actually bigger? Like the Russians have the blue one, right? You know, and the Americans have the yellow crane, I believe. Oh, that is one. Beautiful. It's kind of funny, by the way, that the Tatra is actually called a Russian truck, right? You know, in the community. It is not. It is, I believe, Hungarian, right? You know? And the Azov is actually Ukrainian. From the Azov region. Restore the crane. Stop the engine. Change the truck. Change the handbrake. Now, where are we going to go? We do have the unloading zone right over there. So we have another awesome factory that we can make. Metal beams 4 times. All right, metal framing. We have a warehouse over there. Let's see what we do have at the warehouse around there, though. Huh? That's a different warehouse. Yeah, it's a different warehouse. That's the correct warehouse. We do have metal rolls. Do we need metal rolls? Metal beams, bricks, no concrete brick. Oh, we do need bricks, though. Yeah. All right. I think we could haul some... wait a minute. Concrete slabs. We only need the metal... Well, the bricks and the metal beams, right, from this region, I suppose. Cement plant. Oh! That is rather close by. That is nice and convenient, though. Yeah, Big Salmon Peaks, though. I don't know about it, but I think this map is easier than the other one. I really do think so. There's so many roads around here, you know? This is going to bite me in the ass, doesn't it? I think it will. See you guys at the warehouse. One more thing though, right? You know, about, you know, YouTube and pushing and all that stuff. Once you do, you know, get the gains and the views and stuff like that, though, it doesn't matter where you're from, because then you're getting slowly pushed everywhere, you know? That is the message behind it. It just takes a little bit longer, alright? So don't worry about it too much. It's just how it works, you know? Just how it works. And, you know, that's it. There's a benefit about it, though. Because if you do work hard and it doesn't pay off, you give up, right? A lot of people do give up. Because it's difficult. Now, a lot of those people that do give up, though, right? You know, they should not be famous in a way that their life is based on a business, right? Because this can actually be a business. And it sounds a little bit mean, maybe, to some people. But it's better for their mental health. You know what I mean? Because how many people do we see on YouTube that got famous, let's say, and they lost all grasp of humanity, right? You know? And some of them even become monsters. So, alright, there you go. Now, there's an upside down too for, let's say, for countries with a big population. And let's say, if I would be from France, right, you know, and I would speak French in my videos, I will get promoted to the audience that I really, really want then, right? Because, well, there's also other countries that do speak French. But, you know, it's different in that way too, because you can explode in that way, by the way, that you do your own language. But the thing that, oh, look at that, my old friend is here. Yeah, the Tatarin. I think we are going to nuke that trailer. Delete trailers, there we go. So, you know, like, that is also a possibility. But a lot of channels that do really explode later on, they start to give up later down the line. It is sad, but it is how it is. You know how I mean, what I mean? Because people don't respect things that come easy. You know, we have that in us. Because there is no time investment. There is no effort. And, you know, like there's no pride in it. It's just like, yeah, you know, it's just that one little thing that I'm good at, and that's it. That's why a lot of bad relationships keep going on. Because of the time and effort you have poured into, and the energy, you know, and the resources and all. And time is the biggest resource we have. It's more worth than gold. So, because it was a difficult thing, right? It's a difficult relationship, you stay in it. It's kind of weird how we function, you know, as human beings. But, oh well, it is what it is in the end, though. I so wish that cargo container wasn't there. Alright, let's take the long round in. Rates mix cement. Very smart though. This person was actually probably thinking like, yeah, well, you know, I do see potential around here. I'm telling you. Oh, no. This one we do need. Yeah, bricks is back. And then we want to have a concrete slab, but we cannot have that over here. That's a shame. We do need more cement for it too. Anyways, so, you know, like, see you at the factory. It's just the uphill there. Alright, so there are some issues around here on the road, though. So it contains more ice than I did think of. Come on. But it's doable. It's not like in the Kola Peninsula, where it's ice and you're just bye. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. You don't need chain tires though on this map. Although you might think so, you really don't need to. You really don't need to. Because there's a lot of grip that you can get, even on small thin parts of ice on this map though, right? You know, like on the road, on the river yesterday. It doesn't really matter. There are certain parts though that just takes your grip away, like on that part where I got stuck in the river. There is, let's say, 2 out of 4 tires were on ice. Yeah, that really was a downer though, but remember, like your truck, the edge on it is not really, you know, like the edge of your truck. I will show you guys in a second what I do mean. And you have to be aware of invisible walls and impacts, right, you know. Now, this is a perfect little example, right? 1 second. Let's say as the... Yeah, do you see it? It's not touching. So the bubble around you is bigger than that. All right, so be aware of it. Be aware of that. And that was the issue yesterday with the map, right? With the river where I was stuck. It's because of that extra little bit of clearing that you do need. Oh yeah, it is. It is what it is though, boys. But man, we can all handle that now, can't we? Rolled Steel Factory. This is just a beautiful line though. All of this is just easy access. Anyways, by that, I also want to thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful time. And I will see you guys in the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy. And don't forget to subscribe though. Bye-bye.